Welcome to Inspired Changemakers, a podcast about all the amazing things people are doing to make the world a better place. This podcast is about creating change and the moments that inspired our guests to activate. My name is Julia Healey, and I'm the CEO of United Charitable. Stay tuned to be inspired. Hi, my name is Julia Healey, and I'm the host of the Inspired Changemaker podcast. And we are here to talk with Eti Lazarian, who is the former staff sergeant in the Israeli Defense Forces. I mean, can I just call you a badass right off the gate? Mm-hmm. And currently the general operating director overseeing real estate projects at Insignia LLC. Beyond your successful career, you are a passionate philanthropist. That's what connected us. Inspiring your daughters to give back through projects like food distribution during COVID crises and helping children in shelters, all guided by the simple philosophy of be kind. Thank you so much for being on my podcast today. I am so honored that you're here, and I cannot wait to get into all the things that we can connect over. So my first question I'm going to start with, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, how do you start, right? You gave me such a good introduction. Where do I take it from here? My name is Eti Lazarian. I am a mother of three. That's the most important thing. And I'm a wife to my darling husband. I'm a principal in L Family Office. That's what brought us together. We met in a family office conference. And I am managing, I'm the director, and I'm managing a huge real estate firm in Atlanta. I'm saying huge. I don't know if it's huge, but it's a boutique real estate firm. But right now we're doing the largest deals in Georgia. So, we're growing very rapidly, and the market is so dynamic and everything changed so quickly. But my passion in life, and that's what connected us together, is philanthropy, of course. And going back to my army time, I feel like that's a history that, previous life. But I was in the Givati Brigade, Khatiba 5, unit number 5. It's a very unique combat unit with very unique people working in it, and you learn a lot being about commitment and routines and how to have protocols. And I think the Army really give you a good advantage to being a philanthropist, being a good business person, and everything that you do in your career.
So what is your earliest memory of philanthropy?
This is a good question. Being Jewish, we have a thing saying it's called mitzvah, right? We have to do a mitzvah on a weekly basis. You have to give 10% of whatever you make on a weekly basis. You have to take care of your little brother and sister. You have to help your mother. You have to help your neighbor. I had an elderly neighbor in my community that she couldn't carry. We were living on the 3rd floor without elevator. She had to take the stairs, and she was so old. So every Friday afternoon, I was to go downstairs, carry her bags to her. Is this philanthropy? I mean, yeah. I guess it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, being Jewish, you're being raised and taught that helping another person in front of you is the most important thing that you can do. It's not about you. It's about what you can do for your community. And I guess this is it, right?
So then how did you come to the States?
I was working for the Prime Minister of Israel, Ariel Sharon. I met my husband in the Prime Minister's office. He was wooing me from the beginning. It was a really true love story. That it was just, eye connection for a second. He saw me, and it led into this amazing, amazing romance. That I met him, I came to the U.S., I fell in love with him and got married 3 months later after we met. So it's like a true love story.
And what made you settle in Atlanta?
He was here, and I'm a good wife and a good partner, and whatever works for him, I was happy with. I supported him from the beginning. I joined his business from the beginning. Like, what he's bad at, I'm really good at, and what I'm bad at, he's really good at. So we were just like the dream team, work-wise since the first second we met each other.
And so what made you want to get involved in his business?
Men don't ask for help. You know how it is. But, being Israeli, and I just came here and I had no friends. I didn't know what to do. And I tried to volunteer a little bit at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, and I tried to volunteer at the elderly house. I was reading books to the elderlies, and I still do that. And my kids still do that, and I get groups to do that. But I think I saw a need. He didn't ask for anything, of course, but I saw a need, and I just jumped right in, like any good business person would do, right?
And so have you always been in the business world?
I have always been in the business world. I always, including on top of working with the Prime Minister, I have a background in finance. I have my master's in marketing. I used to fly to China, to Guangzhou, on probably every 4 months to get merchandise from there and then sell it in Israel. And I had my stores, and I was always in the business world. So I understanding business is business. So jumping from merchandise to real estate to restaurant to whatever we do now. We have a lot of real estate, from strip mall and shopping center to a lot of land that we send to multifamily, and we develop as multifamily. We're developers, we're building hotels, we have office building that we acquired during the pandemic. So our hands is in everything that has to do with real estate.
And do you love it?
I make a decision every day to love what I do and be happy. This is just the decision that I make every morning, and whatever I have to do, even if it's stuff that I don't like to do so much, I make a decision to love it and to be happy. And this is a decision you have to make.
I'd like to thank United Charitable for sponsoring today's Inspired Changemakers podcast. United Charitable is a national nonprofit that focuses on guiding you on your charitable journey. Whether you like to simply streamline your giving or you like to create your own charitable initiative, United Charitable has the knowledge and resources to support you. If you'd like to learn more, check out the link in our bio.
So that's really hard for me. How do you bring that joy and that energy to that? Because there are things that I just don't like, obviously, about just life and things in general. How do you really talk yourself into being happy about things?
So it's so funny. We talk about in the community all the time about guilt, right? So I don't
so much,
right?
I have so much guilt. It's like just weighs on me every single day of my life.
So I don't like to do laundry. It's not my thing. I don't like to clean the house. I don't like to do laundry. I love cooking, but I don't like the mess that comes with the cooking. So I'm in a point in my life that I can afford to pay for those services. So I don't feel guilty about paying for someone to do what I hate. They're making a living. The person that does it can provide for her children or his children. And actually the person that does my laundry, she loves to do laundry. That's her life, to do laundry. Like she irons everything, and she loves everything is so organized, like folders in the closet, and like so what you don't like to do, you may find someone that actually loves to do it.
Right.
So just delegate. And this is in my office also. There are parts in my office. So, getting to where we are, we grew the company. It was just the two of us. Now we have, I don't know how many people working for us, but a lot. You start with just the two of you. So I hate, even though I have my BA in finance, I hate accounting. I had everything that has to do with accounting. I hate it with a passion. But I did it because I had to do it.
Right.
And I learned every aspect of the company through that. I can tell you how much money we have in every property, in every building, in every aspect of restaurants or whatever it is that we own and manage. And you learn from it. Even though you don't like this particular aspect, you learn from it and you grow. And then you grow enough that you can have someone. We have a CEO, a CFO that only does finance for us now. But I feel like I know my business so well because we start from nothing and we grew it to where it is right now.
So you are speaking to, can you come to so I teach accounting at night at my local community college, and every 18-year-old entrepreneur student says, accounting is not what I need to learn. I need to know marketing. I'm like, no. Every good business owner understands their financial statements and the money side of things. So I just need you to just, pop in one of my classes.
I would love that. And that's the thing, people don't understand. When you manage a business, you can't just know marketing. You can't just know real estate. You can't just know the office building. You can't just know the strip mall. Like, you have to know every aspect of your business. You just have to. Otherwise, someone can come and take advantage of you. If you give the person in your finance department, to your CFO, you give them full access to your books, which we have gave them.
Yeah.
And they can write checks that if you don't critique them and if you don't challenge them on a daily basis, how do you know they're doing the right job? How do you know they're doing the right thing? As a business owner, you need to know from A to Z every aspect of your business. You need to delegate. You should not micromanage. But at least if something happened and you have a problem, we look at the books. In 3 seconds, I can tell, okay, the problem is here. This is what happened.
See, first of all, I love that because it's absolutely true. And for me, it was kind of the other side of the house. So I love the accounting and finance of being the CEO of United Charitable. Like, I love all of that. Give it to me all day long. But the marketing and kind of the appearance and like being on camera and doing all that, that's the stuff that I'm pushing myself into new area to really get confident in that, you know? But it's funny because I've had to just make the decision that I like this to get myself through this. And now I've come to kind of enjoy like the CEO videos that I do, that I send to all of our clients about what inspiring stuff they're doing. I've come to really enjoy that, but it used to be such a chore. I used to be so insecure about my words, and, you know, I'm from Jersey and Italian. So like how I pronounce things sometimes, you know, like I had to say water and I was like, water. And I'm like, water. And they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, water. And they're like, no, it's clean water. And I was like, oh God. But you have to kind of embrace some of the negative or some of the things that you don't think you like to do, because you can learn from it. It can help you grow, just like you were saying. And how do you inspire that in your kids?
It's funny. I'm just going to go back to what you just said. It's funny that you don't like to be in front of the camera, but when you and I get together, we can talk for like 5 hours straight. And you're such a people person, and you should be in front of the camera, because people just open up to you like an open book. Like, I'll give you, what do you want to know? Let me give you everything. What I told you with my children is like, I've been married just 20 years. I've never spoke about it. And we were talking 5 seconds and I'm like, let me give you all the information.
And I felt, and it was so funny, because I think I sat down to you and I shared with you my insecurities right away. I was like, listen, I'm the philanthropy side of things. So it's like, I'm not here to sell like an investment. I just want people to be inspired to give. And you were like, oh my God, Julia, look at what I do. And I was like, and you were like, this is my philosophy. It was in the first 17 seconds of knowing each other.
Right.
And I was so struck by the story. And if you could share it, I would really appreciate it. You said that there was a dog shelter in your community.
I think it started before. So the first act of philanthropy with my children, I'm going to say to the camera, because this is a story that needs to be told. The first act of philanthropy, my daughter the oldest one was 6, the middle one was 4, and the youngest one was 3. We had in my community, we're very close. Everybody know each other. We're in a school called the Davis Academy. Everybody know each other. It was Passover night. We were in the synagogue. Jared went to sleep. He was 6 years old. He went to sleep on the sofa. Sorry. It's a horrible story, really. Jared went to sleep on the sofa in the synagogue, and he never woke up. So my girls, we rushed him to the hospital. There was a fist-sized tumor. He died the next day from brain tumor. Healthy, beautiful, gorgeous young little boy. He just passed away from a brain tumor that nobody knew what it was. The next day, of course, my girls could not fall asleep. 6-year-old, 4-year-old, 2-year-old. Jared went to sleep and never woke up. So, of course, we should not go to sleep. And we kept talking about it. And I'm like, girls, what can we do? What can we do to help Jared's memory, and also to help ourselves to feel better about it, and also make a change in the community? What can we do? And we all have beautiful long hair. The girls and I have beautiful long hair. And my middle one, actually, or my oldest one, said, let's cut our hair and give it to Locks of Love and create weeks to kids with cancer with our hair and support the cause and raise money for Jared's organization.
And how old was she?
She was 4. And Mia was 3. The little one was 3. So can you imagine a 3-year-old giving her hair? What 3-year-old gives her hair to Locks of Love? And we gave like 12 inches. Like, it was a lot. Like, we gave all of our hair. Like, I was like this. And they went back to sleep, and they felt good about each other, and they felt good about what they did, and they felt good about, celebrating Jared's memory. And they did a lot of activities since then. We had many for childhood cancer, a lot of activities since then. But that was the first memory of Jared, or the first memory of philanthropic activity with the children.
And how do you keep it going? How do you keep that spirit alive?
So I was telling you, about the shelter. I feel like when people ask from people to do stuff, they don't do it. But I feel like if kids ask for it all, like if a cute little 4-year-old will come to you now and says, Julia, I'm raising money for the dog shelter and I really need you to help me buy snacks, buy food.
Right.
Maybe you can help your friend. Maybe your friend is looking for a dog. Maybe you can help us find a home for this dog. And you will do it.
Right.
Like you will do it.
Yeah.
And people do it. So the girls, I think this is a very good philanthropic, also entrepreneurial skill to have. You don't ask, you don't get. So
wait, breathe. Say that again. If you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't ask, you don't get. And I challenge my kids all the time. I'm like, okay, we're doing a fundraise for the dog. We don't have any money. What are we going to do? We empty our pockets. We have no money. What are we going to do? My daughter is like, let's go to Kroger and ask them to donate us donuts. And we're going to sell the donuts, each donut for $5. And then we're going to take this money and give it to the dogs in the shelter. I'm like, what a brilliant idea. Let's do it. And we went to Kroger and did Mr. Schwartz. He passed away since then, but he knows us. Everybody knows us in the store. And he gave us like a cart full of donuts. We sold the donuts. Of course, we did a community event. Everybody knew. Other people gave lemonade. Walmart gave blankets to give to the dogs in the shelter. My other friend from Shaw Company, the carpet company, he gave like carpet tiles so we can put it on the shelter to give for the dogs to sleep on in the cold days. It was winter. And we just ask. It's a simple thing. Just go and ask. Your parents know people. We know people. Everybody knows people. Just ask. This is what happened. It was Katrina, I think, one of the storms.
Yeah. Hurricane. Yep. Katrina.
Hurricane. And all I did, I swear to God, I didn't do anything. All I did, and it's on our Lazarian Girls Facebook page, I did a Facebook Live. I'm like, Hurricane Katrina came. They took all the dogs. They're in a Dunwoody house. All these dogs, and I just showed the dogs. I just went from the puppies, one puppy to another puppy, all tiny little dogs. And it was a shelter that only has small dogs, I think under 7 pounds or under 10 pounds. And all the people had to see the dogs. And a 6-year-old was doing the video. And her sister is holding the dog. And all of her friends that already had one dog already adopted another dog. And Josie, one of the dogs, she's now, I don't know, she's like 10. Like all of the dogs were like best friends with all these dogs. And we get to see those dogs often. So.
But I think it's that when you can make philanthropy easy, right? When you don't have to be the Bill Gates of the world, when you can do it on a level where you really feel attached to it. Now, do you include it in your business as well?
In my business, I have a lot of people working. I always say they don't work for me, they work with me. And from the janitor in the office building to the last cleaning person to the CEO of my company, we all work together. We're one unit. If the janitor doesn't do what he needs to do, and if my CEO doesn't do what he needs to do, we will not be a successful business. So I know every person by first name, every person that worked for me by first name. If I see something on the floor, I pick it up. I don't wait for cleaning people to pick it up. I treat every property and every person in the property like it's my own house. And this is what I tell to the people that I work with, my partners. This is your property. You should be proud of where you are. You should be proud of what you do. There is one janitor that cleans the bathroom in one of the office buildings. He's like 80-year-old and he cleans bathrooms. That's what he does for a living. He's the happiest person in the world. He sings from the top of his lungs. Everybody in the office building is just waiting when he goes to the bathroom to sing, to hear his voice. He's like a gospel singer.
Oh my God.
And he's just the happiest person in the world. And I love that. I love that people doesn't matter what you do. This is your job. Be proud of it.
Right.
I love it. And every person in the equation, every person in the puzzle is as important. It's the last piece of the puzzle. And the puzzle will not be complete without him.
And what would you think if everybody was as involved with philanthropy as you are? If all people, like if we had an army of people that were really living philanthropy and seeing just kind of what you talked about, being kind, helping your neighbor with the groceries, like how do you think that would affect the world today?
I think people are more involved in philanthropy than you think. And I think they don't call it philanthropy. They're just calling it being a good people.
Yeah.
But our philosophy for Lazarian girls is do good, be good. It's that simple. You don't have to have $1 million in your charity. You don't have to have, we give on a weekly basis to some organization because people think that to keep the light on in a synagogue just comes by itself. They don't understand that people need that $18 or whatever, a small donation that will help to keep the light on. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be small thing. Go to the dog shelter, talk to the dog, walk the dogs. You change this dog's life. You change it, even though it's not a person, it's not a human being. It's an animal that needs the attention. We go to the elderly home. We read books to the elderlies at the elderly home. Just it's people that are alone all day, and all of a sudden kids come and talk to them and spend time with them. That's the most important thing. And also be aware. During COVID, we are in real estate. We're in the restaurant business, and Sweet Tomato closed down. It's a huge hangar. It was 100,000 square foot, full of food. And they came with this forklift, and the dumpster were right there. And they came with this forklift, and they were throwing the food to the dumpster. And I stood there with my body. I just stood there, and I'm like, you stop right there. You're not taking any more food. And the landlord came to me, and he's like, God is watching. The landlord came to me, and he's like, I need this space clean and ready to go. I'm going to put everything in the dumpsters. You have to get out of here. And I'm like, no. I'm a landlord. I know you don't have a client for 100,000 square foot waiting for you tomorrow to come and list it up. You don't need it. Give me 24 hours, 48 hours. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to have all this food donated to the shelters. And all the food, it was pallets and pallets and pallets of pasta, vegetables, honey, like everything you can imagine. Everything that Sweet Tomato served.
Yeah.
Like good stuff. Beans and all kinds of spices, like tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Flour, things that could fit hundreds of families.
Yeah.
And I just did it again. I swear to God, all I did was a video. I did Facebook Live. I did a video. I'm like, all this food is getting thrown to the dumpster. All of this food is getting thrown to the dumpster. Just come and take it. It's free. Just come and take it. And everybody shared it. It was a WhatsApp group, one WhatsApp video, and one Facebook Live. That's all it was. Hundreds of people came, hundreds of organizations. Because I know you know someone knows someone, and all of a sudden all this organization there is a huge organization in Atlanta called Second Helping. I don't remember all the names, but Solidarity Food Bank came. That's how I met Jennifer, and I did amazing things with Jennifer. Since then, I introduced her to a lot of people. We got the mayor from a letter from the mayor Buttons back then. 10,000 people that food fed. There is another organization, I don't remember the name, but the beans that we gave, it was like pallets and pallets of beans. There is a homeless vegan organization in Atlanta. So we fed 30,000 people from this bean because they're vegan. So it was really hard for them to find stuff to eat. So I have tons of pictures and stuff. I'm happy to share with you. Maybe we can edit it into the podcast.
Yeah.
But like thousands of people were fed from this one little thing. So my thing would always tell to my girls, this is business, this is life, this is everything. Be aware. A business opportunity is right around the corner. Helping someone is right around the corner. Just keep your eyes and ears open and listen for the need of the community and make sure that it happens.
With that, how would you like to see Atlanta change?
It's really alarming what's happening in Atlanta and in the world recently. Like it's really alarming. Atlanta, I feel like people here are a little bit self-absorbed in their own little thing. Like they're not really open to the community. And even the communities, they're very close. Like some communities, they're not open to other communities. So they're not mixing with each other. And that's something I would like to see joint forces between different communities. That I find will be amazing. I feel like all of the US, I feel like there's a lot of hatred going on right now, and a lot of people are very frustrated with what's happening. But if you don't look at the political agenda, and if you don't look at the, whatever is happening, if you just look at the person, in front of you, don't look at the big picture, just look directly at the person in front of you. You will fall in love with that person because it's good people that live here. It's really good people. And it's just in the housing market, I see what's happening in the housing markets with the apartment. A lot of fraud are happening, a lot of bad things are happening, and they think this is a big corporation, they don't care. But there is always a person behind this big corporation. So you really need to think and to look at the people, not don't look at global, look micro. Some things is a global look, but some things when you're working in your community, you really need a micro look to look at things.
And how important is your faith in your journey?
You know, faith is a big word. My faith is super important. And I was talking about my kids, and I'm happy. I feel like this should be a whole other podcast. But when we try to have kids, the doctor told us there is no way you will have kids. You will never have children. And my faith made me have 3 healthy, beautiful children, because I knew that God is watching over me. God gave me every opportunity possible under the sun. Like everything I ever wanted, I got it. But it's because my hard work, it's because I made an effort, it's because I really did everything I can to get to that situation. So people sometimes look at me and say, oh, you have everything, you have this, you have that, like you have everything going on for you. I worked so hard for this. I did this. The reason I have it is because I worked for it.
And you asked for it.
And I asked for it.
Right? Because if you just accepted what that doctor told you,
right.
But no, you ask more questions, you'll never get what you don't ask for, right? That was kind of like what we gave me.
So we're talking about faith. This is the power of prayer. I feel like this is the power of prayer, because when you pray to God or to whatever you believe in, doesn't matter who you believe in. When you pray, you say what you want. And figuring it, this is in business, it's a big thing. Figuring out what you need, what the needs are for the business, that's 90% of solving the problem. Just understanding, okay, this is what's happening, this is what I need. When you pray, you know what you want. And when you pray, you say, okay, I want ABC. ABC will happen because you said it, you thought it, this is what you want. You're going to have a direction to get there. That's why I feel like it's so important to pray every day, or at least once a week. We pray on Friday. My girls and I, everybody pray on Friday. And every time I light those candles and every time I say what I want, it happens. It doesn't happen the next week. It doesn't happen the next day. But it will happen in the next year, in the next 2 months, it will happen. So to me, the power of prayer is the most important thing. And then we talked about this decision to be happy. Like this is part of the decision. Like isolate. Just find what doesn't make you happy, isolate it, remove it from the equation, and be happy with what you have and where your life is going.
You know, and I think as a woman, at least I sometimes don't want to get too greedy or ask for too much, right? Do you know what I mean? Because I do. I feel like I have a blessed life. I feel like I have so many things. And sometimes I feel so incredibly guilty for when I feel like I'm not a good enough mom, or, you know, like just the you'll totally understand with this story, right? I'm trying to get to a business meeting. I have everything set up. Things are on a tight schedule, all the stuff, right? And my daughter all of a sudden decided she wanted her hair braided. Right? 7-year-old just decided that day she wanted her hair braided. And I didn't have enough time to like braid her hair, get it, like do everything. And I was like, honey, not today. And she's 7 and she started to cry. I was, but mom, I want my hair braided. We're doing this at school, or da-da-da-da. And I like the way you do, you know, the meltdown. And finally, I just, you know, braided her hair. I was a little bit late for the meeting. I did all these things, but I felt so guilty and so horrible that at that moment, like how blessed am I that I have a healthy 7-year-old that still wants me to braid her hair and wants to be around, you know what I mean? Like all the things. And I hate at sometimes about myself, about how like I'm in a moment and I feel I should be in other moments, and then I feel guilty.
So my advice to you, being a mom of 3 girls, my advice to you is to talk. Just what you said to me right now.
Yeah.
To have this discussion with your daughter.
Really?
And explain to her what you felt. Go over the whole rainbow of emotion that you just went through. And say, in a calm, after this whole thing is over, just talk about your day. And say to her, sweetheart, if you want your hair braided, maybe it's a good idea to tell me this in the morning when we wake up, not 5 minutes before mommy going to the meeting.
Yeah.
And this is what happened in the meeting. This is how you wanting the hair braided at 4:00 affected my whole afternoon.
Yeah.
So maybe we can plan ahead. And next time, if there is a major event in your life, maybe you can tell me in the morning or the night before so we can plan it. And then I will be ready for the situation. Believe it or not, this will work. And my kids have agendas, have calendars. Agenda is a huge, I say, my marriage counselor, my personal marriage counselor is Google Calendar. Like, that's my marriage counselor. Because if I have a major event in my life, my husband knows about it 2 weeks in advance. He will not bother me. He will not ask questions. He knows this event is happening 2 weeks from today. It's on the calendar. That's it. If it's on the calendar, it's done. So I have this calendar with everybody in the family. Everybody uses Google Calendar. So they know mommy has an important meeting and Wednesday at 4:00. Nobody talks to her since noon, you know? So,
I love that.
Communication. This is the key for everything. I used to have problems with, I don't want to say because they might, a certain family member. And it was horrible. So I chose my battles and I'm like, ignore it. It will go away, or talk about it. So certain problems, I just ignore it. I don't even listen to it. They say, they talk, it just go.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, whatever. And I just don't even acknowledge it. It's his issue. It's their problem. It's on them. It has nothing to do with me. This is theirs. But other things, when it gets escalated, I'm like, okay, listen, what you said made me feel this way. And I put it on them. It made me feel this way, but just so you know, you made me feel uncomfortable or whatever I felt at that moment. So talking about your feeling and understanding the other side needs, and she's your girl. She wants you to be happy. She wants you to get to the meeting on time. That's how you buy her Barbie or whatever. Like, she wants that.
It was, no, absolutely. And it was funny because just, even being away with them to be in Atlanta and all these things, my mom is watching my girls, and which, again, even asking for help, asking my mom to help me watch the kid.
The biggest gift you could have given her.
And, but it's really funny because my mom calls me and I don't pick up the phone, but you can hear her having a conversation with my 7-year-old. And they were listing all the reasons mommy possibly couldn't pick up the phone. And you have my 7-year-old, oh, she may be teaching accounting. Oh, she may be raising more money for charity. Oh, she may be doing our podcast. And they were listing on. I was like, who are they talking about? Like, they couldn't possibly be talking about me. And then but just to hear the excitement of her talking about the things that I could possibly be doing, it was like I saved the message, because it's like I've listened to it like 30 times, because just to hear how she talks about me was just amazing to me.
So this I don't know how my kids got that, but my kids also think that their mom is like the superstar of the world. And I don't know if they got it from the way...
you are.
But I don't know if they got it from the way their father treats their mother. And this is what we always talk between us. My husband and I, little ears are listening, little eyes are watching. Like, we never say anything. Like, if we have something that we have to deal with, and it's okay if they see mommy and daddy fight. It's actually, I find it very, very good that the kids see mommy and daddy fight, because they know how to resolve problems. Mommy and daddy fight right now. They're mad at each other. 5 minutes later, they're having a glass of wine in the kitchen and they're fighting. Right. So I think it's super, super important to see that conflicts can be resolved.
Right.
In Israel, we have a saying, it's like you take all the toys away. It's like you break all the toys and you get rid of it, and that's it. You're not playing again. But it's important not to break your tools, not to break anything, and just keep going. So it's a difficult moment in that moment, but it's just that moment. And you're having a hard time with kids. 7-year-old is a tough kid. It's 7 going on 17, right? Like, she, in her head, sometimes you're like, she's 17. How is she talking to me like that? And I think, to me, the funniest aha moment for me I was arguing with my 7-year-old. And the funniest thing is to argue with a spitting image of yourself, with a person that looks exactly like you, that has the exact same arguments that you have, that talks in exactly the same languages you speak. And she makes she has a good point.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I created a monster.
Yes.
I mean,
like, and I was like, at one point, Eti, I'm not joking you. I go, why do you think I literally looked my 10-year-old square in the eyes and go, why do you think everything is a negotiation? She goes, well, because it is, right? And I was like, but not with me. Like, you can't negotiate with me. Like, everything else in life.
And it's funny because the kids today are so smart, and the education that they have, we got it at 20. We got it at 25. We didn't get it at 7. So they talk to you at 7 like they're 25, but that's because the way that they've been exposed. Our parents were not talking to us like that. My dad is Turkish. My mom is Polish. I don't know Turkish. I don't know Polish because they never spoke to us. My kid speaks 4 languages. Why do they speak 4 languages? Because we don't shut up. I yell at them in every possible language. They know the curse word in every possible language. And I talk to them all the time. I talk to them 24/7 all the time. And that's why they're so smart, because my daughter, I had a discussion with a client, and I think this is my military background. He's a very esteemed, distinguished old gentleman, and he was telling me that this is the way he wants things done, and it's going to be, his protocol is like this.
Yeah.
And I explained to him in a very firm voice that in my business, we're doing it this way, and that's going to be, that's the way that I'm doing things. And if he wants it, he's welcome to join the team or take the, whatever it was that we discussed.
Yeah.
If not, maybe we should part as friends.
Yeah.
And my daughter was listening to the conversation. Of course, I said it in a little bit firmer way, with a little bit strong language. I don't want to say what the topic was, but she was like, Mom, you're such a badass. I can't believe you talk to him like this. And I'm like, you don't ask, you don't get. Like, you need to say what you want. You need, as a woman also, sometimes you're in a situation that you feel uncomfortable. My daughter needs to know that if she's uncomfortable in a situation, how to get out of it. She says what she wants. She says, this makes me feel good. This doesn't make me feel good.
Why do you think that women have a hard time using their voice?
I don't know. I'm a woman in this world, and I'm Israeli. And that's why, again, I think that face-to-face combat education, and all of my girls, I have 3 girls, they're black belt in Taekwondo. My daughter is a pilot. She's going to be a pilot. She's in the PDK. She's learning how to be a pilot. Like, I teach my girls that whatever a man can do, they can do. They're physically not possible for them to do what some men can do. Physically, just the physical way that they're built.
Right.
But their mindset, they're just as smart. They're just as strong. And my daughter, she's black belt in Taekwondo. She goes into a ring with 3 boys and she kicks, can I say?
Yeah.
Kicks them to the ground. And sometimes she makes boys cry because unintentionally she hits the family jewel.
Yeah.
But and this is what I learned in the army. In the army, in the Israeli army, you're a single girl that goes into a ring with 3 guys, and you learn how to dismantle them. And I think it's an important skill that should be taught in school. In Israel, in school, they taught us Krav Maga. They taught us how to, if someone attacks you, how to resolve it. And I do rape prevention classes for girls in one of my shopping centers. I do that once a month, and I teach them how to, if someone, to me, the most important thing is your voice. 99% of the people, when they attack you, they will leave you alone if you scream from the top of your lungs. That's the number one thing. Raise your voice. Be heard. Say what you want to say. Don't be scared to be heard, to be acknowledged. And that's the one thing, the number one thing.
And, I think that we are, as women, especially women that are in positions that we get to lead other women, what are you hoping that the next generation of women get?
I think we're already there. I think our voices are, I think our generation is the one that suffers the most, because we can do, we have to be amazing wives. We have to be amazing mothers. We have to be amazing businesswomen. We have to keep an impeccable house. We have to take care of the dog. We have to take care of our mother-in-law. We have to take care of everything. Like, we have to be perfect.
Right.
But I think the next generation already understands I can't do everything.
Right.
Like, already understand that quality of life is more important, that, taking care of their soul, taking care of themselves is very important. I think that some of them are a little bit more spiritual than we were, maybe. I feel like the next generation is going in the right direction.
Sometimes when I really do believe, when you said your kids are the spitting image of yourself, sometimes I do believe that they were literally sent here to teach me lessons. Like, I swear to God that I think both my kids have something to teach me, right? In just the way they approach life and all of the things. And this will be a wonderful family moment, or wonderful mom moment that I'm about to share. My daughter, who is in the 4th grade, she's about to be a fifth grader now. She came to me and she's like, and some of her friends were in the gifted and talented math program, and they got to go to field trips. They got to do cool things. And she's like, Mom, can I like test for the gifted and talented program? And I'm like, babe, like that's usually teacher recommendation or like scores. Like, are you sure that you want to test for it? And she's like, I'm going to get the paper. And I was like, she's like, I just need you to sign for it as parent permission. I'm like, okay, babe, but usually it's like teacher recommendation. So I don't want you to, And so she brings me the paper. I kind of delay signing it. And then I call the teacher and I said, hey, listen, I was like, and she goes, no, your kid is bright, but I don't know if I'd recommend her for the gifted and talented program, but you could let her try if you want to. And I was like, all right, Sophia. And then she looks at me and she goes, Mom, what's the worst that could happen? I fail, I don't get in. Okay. Like failure, like to me, failure, like I cannot stand, like it's hard for me, right? This kid tested the 3-round. Guess what? She's in the gifted and talented program in 5th grade.
She's your daughter.
She scored. She's gonna, and she looked at me and she goes, Mom, you shouldn't do things straight off. Mom, you shouldn't just not do things because you're afraid of them. Like I was an idiot. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's been like not meaning to be disrespectful or anyway. She just said it like she said it like, Mom, you shouldn't just not do things because you're afraid of them. You don't know what you're gonna love.
Especially, yeah, you say it with food to her all the time. So I guess it did So I guess it is a plant that you seed.
Yeah,
but she learned from it. But in business also, like my husband and I have this thing that he comes up with an idea, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a horrible idea. When? Like that's my reaction. Like, yeah, for business. So you can't succeed if you don't fail. I mean, you have to fail. How will you know if you like it or you don't? Walt Disney, how many times did he try? How many times did he present it to Bombay or whatever movie? Yeah. Fantasia, whatever movie to present it. Yeah. I mean, you have to fail. You just have to.
And it's accepting, and this is why I think it goes into what we've talked about and how we've connected. It's because accepting that you have faith and there's a journey. And your faith will bring you into the right place, right? Like the faith will give you everything that you need. I think it's just full circle. But yeah, I agree with you. And then I saw that too. Like Steve Jobs failed how many times before?
We have a path in our career when we go straight and we know where we're going. And all of a sudden there is an opportunity and you either take right or left. And whatever decision you make, that's going to change the whole path of your career. Like your whole life is going to be different.
Yep.
Like for me, if I stayed in Israel, God knows where I would have been right now.
Right.
If I didn't have kids, God knows where I would be. My husband and I probably would have been divorced by now. Like you never know.
Right.
Like, you never know. And these decisions that you make, it's a strong decision. And you need to acknowledge it. You need to know that in this moment, I'm taking a life-changing decision. This is a decision that...
And I think and I think with what it kind of ties back to just like be happy. Like I was never, and I think I shared this with you already, I didn't ever really want to be a mom. It wasn't like my thing. Like a lot of women know that they want to be a mom. And my husband and I kind of were together 8 years and married, and we were like, we're not having children. Like we've made the decision. Well, God has other plans for you. And sometimes you just can't, things happen. And we have this beautiful daughter. And I remember like picturing what I thought that picture was going to be in my life, and motherhood wasn't in it. But now I couldn't imagine a day where I didn't have my girls. Like what was my life without them? So it's so funny because I think you're right with that journey thing, the right or left. We have no idea, right, what's going to happen, but it's meant to,
And sometimes the decision that you make can but here, you made a decision not to have children, and then, who asks you? Nobody asks you. This is not your decision.
Exactly. And I have 2 beautiful girls.
So, especially when you're bringing a soul into the world. This soul needed to be in this world. So that's a whole different level of belief. And in the Jewish religion also, like if a soul meant to be or not meant to be. I've heard of women that are doing abortions and the baby still stay in the uterus and the baby is healthy and changing the world with what they do. So it happened often. But, you have to believe in yourself, believe in the moment. And this decision to be happy, it's a major decision that you have to take. And you have to make this decision every day.
And how do you take care of yourself? What is the self-care things that you do to really make sure that your cup is filled?
That joy. I call it joy. So for me, we were now in Colombia. And I'm obsessed with llamas. Like, I'm obsessed with llamas. Llamas are delightful. Like, they're like little kitten, but giant kitten. Like, I love them. So my husband didn't tell me, and he knows I'm obsessed with llamas. Everybody around me knows I'm obsessed with llamas. And he took me to this place, the llama sanctuary, and we met all these llamas. So that was a surprise for me that he took me there. So that's like my little joy. And I acknowledge this joy. I acknowledge it. And it will last for me now for like a month of happiness, that I'm going to be happy with my little llama moment. And he bought me this little stuffed animal of llama, and I sleep. He's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, I have plans. I'm staying in bed with my stuffed animal llama. Like, that's what I do. That's my big plan for tonight. Like, my joy is moments. I feed off this moment. I read a book with my daughter. That's my joy. I run every day with my middle child. That's my joy. I wait for those little moments. I embrace those little moments. And it doesn't have to be a trip to Thailand in the St. Regis, which also happens. And I enjoy those moments too. But the joy comes from the little things. The joy comes from my husband wanted to surprise me, and he was so happy to see me happy. Like, that's his joy, to see me happy.
Cry. That makes me cry.
But like that's my decision every single day. Like, my joy today will be to go out after this to have a drink with you. Or this moment is my joy. Like, every little thing that I do is my joy, and I feed off that. I enjoy it. And I do self-care. I sleep a lot. I sleep 6 hours a day, which for me is a lot.
Wait a minute. You just said you sleep a lot and you only sleep 6 hours a day.
But I sleep that 6 hours. Like, I have a really deep REM. I don't know how it is, but I sleep really good, and I wake up energized, and we work a lot. And even we always ask us, is business or it's pleasure? Like, what is business? What's pleasure? What is our business? To sit down in a restaurant and talk business deals? Like, this is always pleasure, even though it's business. Colombia now was business. It was the best trip we've ever had. You were with us in Savannah. That was business. It's the best time we've ever had. Our business is joy. And people look at it, oh, you work so much. I'm like, but my work is awesome. Yeah. I have the best job in the world. Like, I work, but this is so much fun. I have a lot of restaurants in my centers, and what is my job? To go to a chef to try all of his food to see if it's okay to put in my centers. I mean, that's amazing. Let's do it every day. So people, you can look at it as work, but you can always look at it as, oh my God, this is amazing. This is the best thing that happened to me. And in my life, like, I have coffee. Chaz is always mad at me because it's like, I drink coffee and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best coffee I've ever had in my life. Like, my coffee in that moment is the best I've had in my life. And it's like, you're exaggerating, but this is it right now. It's right now, and I'm enjoying it right now. So this is my joy right now. And every moment I find a little joy. It's hard for me. I volunteer at the dog shelter. Those are moments that are hard, but also it reminds me that this is the change that hopefully I will make. And I see dogs. There was a dog, Moscow, in Lifeline. She was in a car accident. They had to amputate her front hand. And this dog has been abused, has been run over, cigarette burned, like the worst case of animal abuse I've ever seen. She only had 3 legs. So I walk into the shelter, and this Moscow is like happy to see me, like coming and wagging and telling, like, and I'm like, if Moscow is not complaining, she's happy as can be, I will never complain again. So that was my aha moment to understanding, like, enjoy the moment to the fullest. She got her treat from me. She just wanted to see me. She knew, she trusted me in her heart that I'm going to find her the best house possible. And that was it. Like, this is it. Acknowledge every moment. And if you have a bad day, it's okay. It's okay. Stay in bed with your llama. It's okay.
That's so, God, I love that, because you're right. If we start recognizing those moments of happiness, or those moments that really fulfill us, and they don't need to be as big as a trip. I mean, I'd love to go to Thailand, but they don't need to be as big as that. They could just be the voicemail that I get to listen to now over and over again of all the joy. Yeah, that's my joy. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much.
I feel like we're going to keep talking forever.
I know, but we're already like 15 minutes over time. So, but I could not have enjoyed. You are literally the definition of pure joy. You have a light that is just around you all the time. And just the way that you are so approachable and so smart, in the sense that you're like, we could just do this. Like, you don't second guess yourself. And I love that. Like, I love that you're like, no, I'm just going to help. And it's not like, you don't question yourself around it. You're like, no, I'm just going to do this. Like, I can physically imagine you putting yourself in front of like the forklift or the dumpsters going, no, we are going to sit, you know? And I love that. So
that's another thing that sorry, one last thing.
Oh,
that's education comes with it, right? So when you know your business, this is my knowledge that comes because I know how the business works, right? So in that particular moment, it's like you have to know your players. Like you need to know who you're.
Right.
So that's another thing that we didn't speak about. Maybe next time, educate yourself. When you're in a certain position, you need to educate yourself about all the players, all the aspects and everything around you.
But I think it's also important to understand like other people's motives and what they want as well. And I don't mean motives in a negative way. I don't think motives are negative at all.
Know your enemy. Absolutely. Know your enemy.
And I think that it's one of those things that, like, even for me, it took a lot to ask you to be on my podcast, right? And well, because I'm like, you're this very successful, like you're this like you're so well world traveled, like you're so like just in a league, right? And I was like, but okay, is she going to want to talk to me about like her, like, do you know what I mean? And the fact that you've been spending your time with me, so I really am. I do think you are such a badass. But to even ask that, do you know what I mean? To have the courage to be like, hey, listen, this is what my podcast is trying to do. And this is why I want you on it. I want you to inspire people to make sure that they know that they can just activate, and it doesn't need to be an act of like, you know.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Just be kind. Do good, be good. Let's sum this up.
Yeah.
You don't ask, you don't get. I think the summary of this discussion was you don't ask, you don't get. And this should be your leader. Even if you're a guy and you see a beautiful girl and you want to ask her out and you're scared that she's not going to come out with you, ask. And even if you're a girl and you see this hot boy and you don't know if he's going to come with you, ask. The worst thing you can do, you can have a nice conversation with a guy. So you don't ask, you don't get in all aspects of your life. Just get out of your skin, get a little bit uncomfortable, maybe giggle a little bit, but ask what you want and you will get there. This is the best advice that I can give anybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Athletes Charitable for sponsoring today's Inspired Changemakers podcast. Athletes Charitable offers a concierge membership service that provides the tools and resources to build a legacy through service. Our athlete-led team has the first-hand experience and expertise to provide hands-on support that simplifies the entire process for athletes and entertainers to reach their social entrepreneurship goals and create lasting impact in their communities. To learn more, check out the link in the bio.
Find Inspired Changemakers on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and comment on all the awesome things you are doing to make this world a better place. Don't forget to subscribe.